My father is a Presbyterian minister. My grandfather was a Presbyterian minister. When I get out, I will go to seminary, and I'll be a Presbyterian minister. But I'm not interested in the Bible. This is important because Moses, Joshua, the son of Nun, Nehemiah, Micah, Peter, Jude, and Yeshua all reference this very thing of what happened with Balaam. This is not a small thing. This is very important because he says that you have among you, even though you've got good things going for you, you have among you those who hold the doctrine of Balaam. And so let's take a look at this very quickly to understand what this doctrine of Balaam is all about. Because these Erevall matters of what happened with Balaam, remember it was Balak, the king of the Moabites, who assembled all of the nations around him when Israel was coming in to take their land, and he got all these nations, all of these kings together, and then they called for Balaam, who is a prophet, a soothsayer, and they sent men to him with the rewards of divination. In other words, you sent a gift to the prophet and said, please come, I need your help, all right? And so Balaam was given a revelation that he was told, don't go with them. And so he told them that. And then they said, well, you know, Balak said you can write, it's a blank check, you can have whatever you want on this. And he said, well, spend the night and let me have another talk with the Lord. Let's see if he changes his mind. So the Lord came down and spoke to him. Didn't come down. He spoke to him and said, if they call you in the morning, then go with them. Well, the next verse, Balaam arises early in the morning, saddles his ass, and is outside their windows, waking them up. Why? Because he wants the money. He wants to be paid. This guy is a paid professional prophet, and he is willing to do anything. And so instead of being told, instead of being awakened, no, he wakes them up after he has his ass saddled. He's on his way, and on the way, an angel meets him. But he doesn't see it, only his ass does. And so 3 times, the angel's about to whack his head off, and the ass turns out of the way, and then finally, Balaam is so upset, he takes out a big rod and just beating his ass mercilessly, his donkey, that is, I'm speaking King James, he's beating his donkey mercilessly, and then the donkey turns around and talks to him and said, since I've been your ass your whole life, and have I ever been known to do anything like this? And he said, no, but you've never talked to me like this before either. And then his eyes are open, and the angel speaks to him and said, if it weren't for this ass turning out of the way, I would have killed you. No. And then Balaam says, I've sinned. And then the angel, speaking for the Almighty, says, go and don't say anything except what I tell you to speak. Well, he went and he prophesied. They took him to 3 United Nations summit meetings, to the peak of 3 mountains in the land of Moab, and each one of these United Nations summit meetings, he sacrifices 7 bullock on 7 altars and 7 rams. 3 times 7. You've got to get the beating of Balaam's ass, prophetically speaking. This 2.5-hour video, it's a 2-hour video, goes into the detail of the prophecy, the parable that Balaam put in place at that time, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot miss this. This is a message for this generation because it was repeated by the United Nations recently. Every detail was repeated. The beating of Balaam's ass, prophetically speaking. Make sure that you get that. Now, what happens is that after these 3 prophecies are spoken, then Balaam, we don't read about it in the 22nd chapter of Numbers, but in Numbers 33, we read and we find out what Balaam did to get the money, because he's after the money. And ladies and gentlemen, that's where we are in the Christian world today. Just about everyone is going after the money. With the mega churches and everything else, they are going after the loot. They want to make sure they're taken care of. And remember it well, I was in the Marine Corps. We're having a study with the Marines in the barracks, and this one guy could never get him interested. And he's finally said, hey, my father is a Presbyterian minister. My grandfather was a Presbyterian minister. When I get out, I will go to seminary, and I'll be a Presbyterian minister. But I'm not interested in the Bible. Thank you. What a beautiful example. Someone who's going to be a professional religious leader. He's not really interested in the Bible, not interested in living it. He's a fraud, and he was exposing it beforehand. Please, if you're out there, no, he's not going to be watching this. He's never going to look for the truth. This guy's a fraud from the beginning. He's going after the money, and this is exactly what Balaam did, and this is the seed that's being sown in the body of believers among those who will give their life for the Messiah, yet you have those who are absolutely uncommitted and only committed to themselves, and they want to get together enough people where they can fleece them and they can milk them until they are dead and in the grave. And that is something Yeshua hates, and he's going to bring an end to it. And that's why the body believers of Pergamos, it's only a ruins now. Nothing exists of it because it all went down.